everybody can think back, remember the family history of somebody in their family who has that narrative of coming from the old country. We have had waves of immigrants, primarily initially coming to Northwest Ohio from south of the border and from Texas, beginning in the years immediately, perhaps even during, but immediately after the First World War, so during the early 1920s. So the Hispanic population, the Latino population in, for example, Northwest Ohio and the Toledo area is a population that has been in Ohio for generations. In the 1950s and then in the 1960s, we saw the need for labor in the Cleveland area and in the Youngstown, Canton area because of the steel industry. An invitation was sent out for available workers from Puerto Rico. And as you know, Puerto Ricans are American citizens, but nevertheless, Latino population. And initially, young men arrived in the area to work the steel mills and other heavy industry. And then in the 1960s, we had another influx because of agriculture. Also, the phenomenon of the Cuban Revolution and over 1 million refugees leaving Cuba, and some of them coming to Ohio. And then most recently, the influx in the 90s following through to about 2010 because of the growth in the real estate market, in the construction industry, and the service industry. It's rare to find a family that every member is undocumented. Usually it's a hybrid family. In the last 5 years, I would say that the community, the numbers have remained stable at approximately 55,000.
I was like self-employed, like contractor. I used to work on construction. I lived in the west side for 5 years, and then I came to the north side.
I was on the west side. At the time, because property management is my background, they hired me because I was bilingual. Or I thought I was bilingual. I'm actually a Texican. So for me, I thought there was only one Spanish, and I have found out there's actually lots of Spanish languages. So when I was on the west side, I worked for an owner that had a property that had Latinos. And so his idea was, hey, why don't we go to the north side? Because at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing, and there's a property in Westerville Schools, and if we do that before anybody else does, we'll be first.
But one of the things that the north side has is there's a lot of help for the people. It doesn't matter if they're Hindu, Hispanic, Latino, American, anybody who has the need.
The days of Chinatown, Spanish Harlem, those days are gone. Okay, you might see, yes, originally there was a lot of Hispanic people in the west side. You see more now everywhere because, again, people are going to go where it's better, economically better. So they're going to go where the better schools. They're going to go where there's more businesses. They're going to go where they feel safe. You know, in the neighborhoods, yeah, I think as people grow up and are around diverse people, it becomes their norm. It's normal for them, so they no longer see it.
So when I came to the north side, that's when my whole life changing began. When I fell into the arms of a very great person. Her name is Anna Maria, and she's been my mentor since the time I came to the north side. I started as a groundskeeper here, and then I went from groundskeeper to a painter, then from painter to a maintenance. From maintenance, I came to a leasing office, and then a leasing manager. And from leasing manager, I went to manager, property manager. Once I got into that point, I decide to be like, hey, I know how to manage a business. So I decide to start saving my money. So it came through 10 years later, you know. So now I have my beauty salon. I've been there for almost 14 months. And now I'm jumping into another project. So it's not only one business, it's a second business that I have, because I know that it's not only one thing you can do. There's a lot of other things you can do if you wanted to do it. You need to bring your talent to the table, and you need to know what exactly you're capable to do.
People today are interested in genealogy and are going back and researching those issues, and it's hard to find some family that does not embrace and celebrate the story of that one or more ancestor. So that is, I think, part of what adds to the uniqueness of the community, the general community in Central Ohio, that perhaps other places don't embrace.